Hello, everybody, and
Hi.
we're live, and we're back with the second in the Let's Dev Humble Bundle series. So, for the last one, if you were around, we did the Humble Bundle Fantasy Kit. And this time, we're doing the FPS kit. So, if you weren't around last time, we built a cool little RPG demo using all the assets in the Humble Bundle kit. The FPS bundle just went live today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, about 15 minutes ago. So go check that out. We'll be dropping a link to it in the chat. Stick around for this show where we're going to be building a cool little FPS, making adjustments to it. We're going to make like a city scene where there's a mission to complete, and you're going to be able to complete the mission in 3 different ways. Right, and we're going to be taking the chat suggestions for what you want to see. We'll change the visuals with you. We'll play around with things, and we'll walk you through all the assets that are in the bundle. But before that, let me introduce my co-host James Walsh, who is the co-host of the last stream as well, co-director of the newly formed indie studio X the Pond. James, please.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me back,
Yeah.
Hassan. I'm really excited to dive in. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun diving into all these assets the past week. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff, for sure.
Yeah, and we're gonna walk you through exactly what that stuff is. So we'll jump to my screen now, where I have the Humble Bundle up. So this is the bundle live on the page, and we'll walk you through some of the assets. Overall, the bundle's value is $1,415. You can get it for just $31. So I mean, that's a huge savings. We got some amazing feedback on the content of the fantasy bundle, and I think the content for this one is just as good. You're going to see that shortly as we dive into everything. We'll quickly walk through each of the assets with you. So we have UFPS, Ultimate FPS. I think this is the equivalent to what RPG Builder was for this bundle last time. RPG Builder, sorry, was kind of like the tentpole framework for building an RPG fantasy game, whereas UFPS for this pack is kind of like a framework for building an FPS, and we used it heavily in the demo we're about to look at. Then we have the Sci-Fi Mega Pack Volume 2, where we're going to be using a lot of characters from this. There's also character movement fundamentals in here. Highlight Plus, we use this for like highlighting weapons and different things. There's also Tannenberg and Verdun, 2 awesome FPS World War I games. We're going to be looking at the trailer for Tannenberg shortly. You have Polarith AI Pro. James, you want to talk a little bit about what Polarith is?
Yeah, Polarith AI Pro is really awesome for having like airplanes fly around terrain or buildings. And I think you can use it for. So I get Polarith and the other one, Sensor Toolkit, kind of mixed up because I worked with both of them. But Sensor Toolkit seems to be really good for third-person characters and like recognizing different targets. So you don't have to write all that code. You can just get it out of the box with Sensor Toolkit, and it's the same way with Polarith AI Pro. But a lot of the examples that I saw with that were with airplanes moving around, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, Sensor Toolkit, something we're going to be using. We won't be using Super Multiplayer Shooter template because we're making more of a single player game, but this is definitely an awesome asset to check out. Cityscape City System, I think the entire city we're in is kind of generated with this. So we're using this extensively. Yeah. I think James had a blast using this asset, so we're going to really deep dive into awesome. This one.
And I think that the asset dev is in the chat room too. So if you have any city generating related questions, definitely ask Oliver's.
If you're in the chat, just let us know who you are. What your Twitch handle is.
By the way, when we have a moment, could you share the chat link with me?
Yeah,
Isn't there
absolutely.
Like something where I could just see? Yeah, because I wanted to see everyboth's.
Yeah, shared it with you.
Thoughts and questions. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
So then there's the 3D Sci-Fi kit, which we're using for some environmental, like in the environment as well. Impact physics interaction system. This allows you to have, well, it's quite clear, just like physics interactions between objects in your scene. Animated hands and weapons pack. Every FPS needs some hands and weapons. It's pretty much all you see from your character model, so it's got to look good. So this is a great asset for that. We will be using Kitbashing, a bit of the post-apocalyptic world pack with the environment. There's also pro tips, tooltip system. I don't think we're using that today, but definitely really great for, like, say you have a quest come up and there'll be a little tooltip to be like, okay, this is like what you have to do, or like a little tooltip when you hover over an item, for example. This is like a great asset for those kinds of interactions. RV Smart AI, RV Honor AI, I believe we're using this for the enemy AIs.
Yep, all the enemies are hooked up with that.
Amazing. Gun and explosion sounds, obviously we're going to be using some of those. Colossal Game Music Collection, we're going to be using this. You'll see that it'll be scattered throughout the scene in some interesting ways. I don't want to spoil it. Sci-fi gun sounds, we're using that. GUI Pro Kit, it's got some great UI. It didn't fit the aesthetic that we were going for this demo, but definitely check that out. Some fun, like, cartoony sci-fi aesthetic in there. Sci-fi weapons arsenal. Footsteps and Foley sounds, these are being used. Citadel Desert Environment Pack. I can't wait for you to see how we use the Citadel Desert Environment Pack. Not the way you might expect, but it just shows how what is the word, flexible a lot of these assets are, and how you can really make them look like your own. And then you have shooting range interiors and the third-person shooter system and vehicle physics. These two we didn't use, but you can imagine how you might use these in your project, especially if you're making a third-person shooter. As usual, of course, Humble Bundle. Much of the proceeds go to charity, and we're going with the same charities we went with for the Fantasy Pack, for Carbon Fund and Oceania 2, environmental charities that we're very proud to be working with. So please, you can go to the page and click on this to read more about what these charities are doing and look them up. I want to go back and look at the games that we're highlighting. So right now we are highlighting. Part of the pack is Tannenberg and Verdun, both by the same developer. So I'd like to look at the trailer for Tannenberg. So I'm just going to go to that. Let's watch the trailer for that. You're also going to be getting this in the bundle if you're into FPS games. This is going to be a great pick for you. So that looks awesome. So that's going to be included in the bundle, part of, alongside all the assets. As some people in the chat are saying, yeah, it's great to have this as inspiration. As you're making your FPS, you can play this and get a feel for it. It can maybe help as a guide for what you're doing. I also really wanted to highlight that another game that's not in the bundle, but a game that uses UFPS, Ultimate FPS, as kind of a base for the development, and it's a popular game called Void Bastards. So we're gonna play the trailer for that just to showcase the power of these assets. So these are the assets used in an actual game, and it's used in this awesome game with super positive reviews. Very popular game called Void Bastards. Let's check that out.
Surprise, buttface!
Do try not to die while action items remain unticked.
Client expired.
I'm looking to you for a paradigm shift towards competence.
Biscuits revolt!
Come here so I can give you a hug.
No respect for synergizing.
Action items ticked.
There you go. So that, yeah, so that's using UFPS, and we're going to be using UFPS extensively as well. And finally, last thing I want to shout out is again, back to my screen, is the Play Showcase we're doing. So, we have Unity Play where you can upload your WebGL games. We have a showcase that's still open. The submissions are open for another 44 days. We want you to, use these bundles, the Fantasy Bundle and the FPS Bundle. Use assets from those bundles, like even one asset. Even if you use one asset from those bundles and submit your game, we're gonna select some of the top games and play them on stream on November 4th, and we're gonna highlight them and just discuss your project. So if you're interested in having your game featured on this Twitch channel, please submit to that. We already have some people who have submitted some games, and you have 44 days left. Yeah, and if you haven't seen the Fantasy Bundle, that one is still live, so you can go check that out. The Fantasy Bundle is here. Amazing value. It's a $2,550 bundle that you can get for around $32. Also has some great games in it: Minute of Islands, and Waking, and some incredible assets. So getting both these bundles together, you're just good to go. You can, that's a lot of assets to have, and you'll see what we were able to make with those assets in the demo. Speaking of the demo, James, shall we get right to it?
Yeah,
shall we
let's
jump
do
into
it.
this?
Let's do it.
This demo. Okay,
cool.
So let's
So
dive
if
right
you guys
in.
have any questions about anything, please write in the chat, and we'll pause the game. So don't feel like you'd be interrupting or anything. So last time for the last bundle, we did 2 different scenes. We did a swamp scene, and we did a fortress scene, and they were the demo scenes of the forest pack and the a dark fantasy pack. And this time we thought it'd be really cool to do an assassination mission where you're doing it different ways, like a run and gun style or a sniper sneak hitman kind of style. Cool. So I will start. And there's a lot of things in this level.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I have a droid assistant here.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Hello, I am your assistant.
My nephew, 6-year-old nephew, helped me out with some audio for the droid assistant.
That's amazing.
And this is the Cityscape builder, which I have totally messed with the materials and everything from. So for regular looking city, you should check out the product page and the videos there to see how it looks normally. And I love the parallax effect on the windows. It's not 3D space. It's just a shader trick.
So this getting in the car, driving the car, this is...
Yeah, UFPS included a car in the kit, which is awesome because it would be boring to just be on a roof and have your target right there. It's much cooler to drive through a city, right?
Yeah. So that's all part of there's also vehicles in the UFPS.
And then we'll take a look at this closer, but the Citadel desert environment, I just added some sci-fi materials to change the look of it. Okay, so we're going to bypass this front entrance, and we are going to go over here. So like a player would totally not know how to do this, but I wanted to showcase some different things.
There's just
All
so many
right.
things to look at right now. We just passed
Yeah.
through like a bunch of assets, and we'll get back to it. Don't worry.
We'll
We're
get
gonna-
back to it. And
We're
the
gonna play
music
through
is
some of this, walk back, add some, make some adjustments, walk through
exactly,
again.
exactly. And the music is in the kit too. I think it might be 6 or 7 gigs of music. So there's
And the
all kinds of stuff
Colossal,
to work with.
Pack?
Yeah,
Is
the
that right?
Colossal
Yeah.
Music Kit.
Amazing.
So here's another UFPS demo thing, and now we're on the top of this building where we have a sniper rifle. Basically, I took things from all the different demos and threw them together.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and
The
eventually...
sniper again from UFPS.
Yeah, the hands and the weapon are all from UFPS. The hand animations match these weapons, so it's just easiest to use this. So, and then I have Highlight Plus on the sniper rifle, which just
Right.
makes it so much more visible to I'll get more ammo, so much more visible to a player. Things that there are to interact with. So, yeah, so like the idea here is you have this boss. Oh, and that's Highlight Plus too, so it's great for really
Oh, on a
picking
different
out
color.
key NPCs or enemies, giving a speech to his henchmen. But you know, we can't get a shot off. Just imagine that we can't get a shot off on the main boss.
Yeah.
So let's try and take out some of these front guards. Okay. I'm gonna really try and get it.
Try your best to get a headshot.
Whoa, headshot!
All right, thank you,
That's your
Droid,
nephew,
for
Droid, cheering
encouraging
you on.
me. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, this is my nephew and I doing the
voiceovers.
the
That's
voice takes
amazing.
for this. So it's really fun to include like people you know, and I mean, I really think
Yeah.
that like game dev shouldn't be us just sitting alone at our computers, and like any chance you get to involve, you know, people and friends is super fun.
Yeah. The headshots
Yeah.
that like the gun sounds and all of that are coming from which pack?
Yeah, UFPS, and the UFPS demo includes the headshot system too. So you can, and not just headshots, but you can include multiple different colliders for different weak points on an enemy
wow.
if you have a huge boss or something like that.
So you didn't even you didn't code any of that stuff, right? You kind of
No, we can take a look at it. There are events to set up, and we can look at that. So there's a on death event on the health system that I just hooked up with the whoa headshot audio to play. And so you could have the enemy like, or you could have a splatter sound or like a my head. I don't know, anything like that.
And since you can set up different parts, maybe you could have like I don't know, not trying to be too violent here, but like limbs falling off, or if you have like a creature and you want to shoot like, or a robot that you want to
For
dismember.
sure,
you could,
and not even like an enemy. I suppose you could use the same headshot system with a something you were taking down, like a mech, or something like that, or a structure. What was that Mars game where you could blow stuff up? I love
Faction.
that. Red Faction. Yeah, man, that was so good. They should. All right. And
what are
because
those ships in the sky? That looks so cool.
Oh,
it's really
yeah,
adding
this
life
is-
to the scene.
I don't think that this is a very performant way to do it, but when I'm wanting to do something fast, I've actually done a scene before where I had I've done a sci-fi city scene before, and a quick way to do ships like this is to just have a particle system and have the mesh emit from it rather than a particle.
Right.
Which I don't think is very performant, but hey.
Is that what this is? This is a particle?
Yeah, there's just some particle system thing back there that's
And
just
where's the
emitting.
ship from?
The ship is from something else. It's free. I used a lot of free stuff in this, and it ended up matching
Also
really
from the asset store?
perfectly. It's a nice, It's a nice thing about sci-fi stuff that you can just really easily. Things kind of go together, you know, especially with the white sci-fi look. So it's really easy. I would definitely encourage people if you're
And we had
doing. Yep.
And we had a question in the chat. Did you add anything to the scene that was not in the bundle this time? And that's a perfect example right there. Like that's something you got free from the asset store, and
I
it
should
just
say
meshes
that
super well with what's in the bundle.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of free stuff there. There is another thing that I used, but it's not really. I tried to keep the all the things that are included in the pack like front and center. So like that thing is in the pack, and if when you what is it? It's called Sci-Fi Kit Volume 3. When you guys get the pack, look in all the folders that are called props, because there are spaceships and all kinds of things in there, and there's at least like 8 different demo scenes that are totally different. Yeah, so one issue that we have in prepping for these is I like to use ERP just to see what the process is like to convert everything. And so the scope material had a like an ERP thing to it that I just made transparent. So that's why you don't see anything there. I am doing things like really fast when we're making this scene, and I'm not spending a lot of time. Like if I like something like this, I'm just not going to spend time fixing it. Right. But I think the best thing to do would be to just, when this zoom event is enabled, and I think it is an event, would be to just turn off that scope, which is really easy with the event system. But I wanted to mention, oh yeah, okay, so let me show you the sensor toolkit in action here with our AI guy. And I'm actually, oh, here we go. Yeah, let me go to me and go here and turn on the gizmos. Okay, cool. So actually, I don't know why we can't see his, there we go. Yeah. So this is the steering rig is from the sensor toolkit. And so the robot is basically sensing the environment. You can see that it recognizes the platform here. And when I move, he'll move too. Slowly. Yeah. Like that. And it would be really annoying if he was following me. So what I did is I actually have a secondary target that follows something attached to me. Let me go ahead and turn that on. Actually, not only is the robot following it, but the rainstorm is following it too. Okay. So let me turn on this sphere here, and this sphere is slowly going to another spot. Sorry, I lagged a little bit. There's a lot in this scene. It is not optimized. Okay, so you can see the sphere will slowly go to a spot on my side, and then eventually the robot will go to that. So it's like you have a second order follow system, which makes the movement a lot more natural and makes it seem as if the robot has a life of its own. So you could just, even if you don't program, just look up a smooth follow script, and rather than have your NPC friend, whatever it is, robot, fairy, NPC follow person, friend, have it follow this other target that is following something attached to you. And you can just look up a smooth follow script. So
that way it's less jarring, right?
That way it's less jarring. And in fact, we'll probably see this yellow sphere. So I don't know if you can see it with the resolution, but there's a yellow sphere slowly coming to a spot to my side. So he stays out of my weapon range. And then you can see that the robot follows that and overshoots it. Oh, wait. Yeah, he's coming back. Okay, there we go. And the robot will also follow, will look at a point down range, because it's like weird if he was looking at you all the time, right. Just like looking at your face. It's like, get out of here, robot. Okay, cool. So do we want to take a break and do some environment changes before we head inside?
Yeah, we can examine the environment as well, and just like look at like cool. you were talking about the parallax effect, so maybe we can just like go into the scene view and look at that.
Yeah, while we're here, yeah. Because it looks, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, that's really great from a distance, but surely it doesn't look good up close. But It looks amazing. I mean, it looks
Yeah,
like there's a 3D
impressive.
space in there, but there totally isn't. I don't know if I
so
can.
for people who
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
aware, there
inside.
actually is not like that's just an illusion. There's not actually
It's-
a 3D space in there. It's actually just a flat mesh with a shader that's creating the impression that there are interior spaces to all these buildings.
Yeah, it's fantastic. In fact, I don't even think that like GTA 5, because I actually love, like, I mean, you know, a lot of people just love walking around like GTA and looking at stuff, especially if you do, you know, environment design or any game dev, and they get away without doing any parallax like this.
Really?
So yeah, I really wanted to make some like rooms, and gosh, like making sci-fi billboards and stuff and signs is like my favorite thing to do. But I know myself, and I know I need to avoid those things for these streams, because I'll spend way too much time making weird alien food signs and
Well, the city
stuff
area
like
looks
that.
awesome, so you've
Okay,
really done
cool.
a great job on that.
So let's
Yeah, so
thank you. Let's duck out of that. And again, guys, let me inverse cube map. Oh, very cool. Is Zero Bando? Are you Cityscape guy?
Cityscape.
Announce yourself,
Announce yourself,
Oliver,
Cityscape.
if you're in the chat.
He's like,
No,
no.
okay, cool. Well, somebody with parallax experience, great. So I guess maybe a good, fun first thing to do would be.
I am a Hazan fan. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Hey,
Zero
all right,
Bando.
me too. So I felt bad because like I didn't want to mess with the hands and the weapons and stuff. So I wanted to show some of the weapons that are in the actually they're not here, that are included in the bundle, but I'm not using them except to use them for environment things, because it's really fun. When we did the peak video, Hassan and I did a peak video together, and it was really fun to like take weapons and make them look like buildings and stuff. So I'm going to go through those just real quick. This is a ammo thing that I scaled up. Let's see, what else do we got?
This is what kitbashing looks like, everybody.
Yeah, this is like the kitbashing stuff. I mean, this is totally a gun too. So these are included in the pack, and I wanted to show them and I guess show off, right? Okay, yeah. So this is a gun, of course. And I mean, honestly, I love doing this because you can just come up with interesting shapes that you wouldn't come up with if you were just modeling, you know? These are actually sniper rifles that I did a, you know, that I scaled to be stubby.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are all in the kit. There's really
They
cool.
look like silos. You turn sniper rifles into sci-fi silos. That's
Well,
amazing.
you can get away with so much with sci-fi. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Let me
And then
see what else.
obviously, if you wanted to be more optimized with it, you would like cut off everything under the ground so that you're not rendering all those meshes and all of that.
Bring things in
fewer
Blender.
polys.
So even if you don't know how to 3D model, like a great first start that's really useful is to just learn how to delete things. Like the like our propaganda hologram for our boss. I just brought that into Blender and just deleted, the back half of the face. So the face could be there.
So if you pull that off, we're only going to see half, right? Let's do that. Let's pull them off.
Yeah.
The wall. Show. There you go.
In fact, for the hologram effect, it doesn't matter that you have like weird mesh stuff. It looks.
Can you show everyone who the target is? Can we zoom in on the target?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that.
Just zoom in on it in the scene view. Just
Let me get out of the maximize here, and let's go in, because these. I mean, I'm not just saying this, guys, because it's on sale. these enemies look great. These sci-fi characters, and not only do you get the enemies, but you get robots and giant Titan creatures and stuff too. So let me go into my enemies here, and let's take a look at our boss. So I'll go into this one, and I have highlight plus on him, so I can just take that off.
That's the character, right?
Yeah, that's the character. Oh, you know what? The mesh is actually here because the highlight effect works on the mesh.
Some of those such massive holograms is pretty short.
Yeah, that's
smaller than
that's
all
something
his
we were
henchmen.
talking about in the boss design, to have this sort of like Napoleon complex with our boss. You know,
Yeah.
like that's why he makes big, like tall holograms of
Structures.
himself,
And just-
because he's really insecure. As villains, it's a good thing for a villain to have like really extreme insecurities, right? It's kind of fun. Yeah, and then he has these towering juggernaut guys, and it's funny because the initial models are the reverse. Like these guys are human sized, and this guy is huge, but
You just swapped it around.
just swapped him around
Making
because
it
I
your
love
own.
him
That's what I
being
love.
little, short, and stubby. You know, like it's great. Cool.
and
So
these characters are from which pack?
yeah, these characters are in. It's called. Let's see. What is the? Let me get up my notes here. Oh no! Don't open that. Okay. Ugh, sorry. It's worth looking at the store page of the Sci-Fi Mega Characters Pack Volume 2.
Awesome.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you can see because there's so much here, but like the design of these characters are just great.
Yeah, it's a
You
lot
get,
of effort. They look kind of
like,
amazing. Some AAA stuff over here.
What is it? Troopers, Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
I love
I
these
watched
guys.
that the other day, actually. Yeah, that's
Oh, really cool.
so good. Like a week ago or something.
Again, with just how deleting a mesh can give you a lot, I just deleted the legs on this and
Yeah.
didn't use any of the animations for the droid follow. Really cool Stormtrooper kind of look, and like more aliens.
It's worth mentioning this asset alone is worth $250, but along with the other 25 assets in the bundle, the whole bundle is just $32. So
And that, I mean,
It's
you
some
can
crazy
tell
value.
that much work has gone into all of these
Yeah.
characters. Oh, there's even water. Ah, man,
some
I wanted to do
Subnautica-looking
I wanted to
stuff.
do an aquarium because it's like the classic crime boss thing to have an elaborate aquarium, right?
it just gets you excited to just make more and more stuff. Huh?
I know,
For
like
world
seriously,
building.
I could work on
Yeah.
work with this stuff for like a month.
No, this is one of the.
Oh, I love this guy,
personally,
too.
I
Look
think
at
this
his
is one of the
little
highest
fur
quality
coat.
assets I've seen on the store.
The little
It's like-
ruffles on the coat. I love that. Yeah,
This is so good.
so
It's
cool.
very Star Wars. That's in
Yeah.
Star Wars fashion right there.
Yeah, and I love how they look. It's like just in a sweet spot between being useful for like anything, but still having a lot of character to it.
Yeah.
all
right.
this.
It's not like overly
So, I mean,
generic.
how
or
many
anything.
characters are in here? Like, there's like 30. I
Oh, really?
mean,
let's double check that. Let's see. Wait, I'm sure it
But-
says it in the description.
yeah, this guy, I just think he's my favorite. That's
Yeah.
why I wanted to kill him
Whale
because he
man.
just looks so cool, like the barnacles on him and stuff like that. Okay, awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, just want to check the chat. Okay, cool. All right, so we looked at some of the. Let me just take a look at the environment here. The palm trees are actually in the Citadel pack, so it was cool to use those. And then for the hologram, I just used some free low poly ones because it's like he's saying, you know, like I terraformed the planet for you, like you know. Let's see, what else do we got here? All of this stuff. We'll walk through that in a moment, but these are the in the Sci-Fi Kit Volume 3. So there's a lot in there. We looked at the weapons. I guess we could probably start doing some changes. Yeah. Do we want to do? Maybe we can duck into the post-processing first. Oh,
Yeah,
you know
so-
what? Before we do that, let's talk about
Cityscape.
the Cityscape
Yeah,
builder.
let's look at this asset.
Okay, so when I reached out to the dev, to Oliver's, because I was like, what do you do when you want it to not generate? Like the whole city, like, because I wanted space for the fortress in the middle and maybe some other little things like this, like custom thing. And he was like, well, what you want to do first is generate like all the streets, and then you can just click on a block and then generate the block. As easy as that.
Amazing.
And then you have some like block settings that you can mess with. but you can also click on each individual building, and there are handles that you can work with to scale things up and down.
Oh, okay.
And you can change
gizmos and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can change the materials of all of this, which he does have city materials. I went in and just made like white and black materials for this scene. There is also a mesh tool. So when you get the pack, just search for mesh and you'll be able to adjust the corners and the balconies of buildings too. It's just a little bit separate from this. I think you actually might be able to add it. Yeah, just let me know if he's in the chat and says something, because there was so much to talk about and I was like kind of giddy about all of it that I just didn't remember remember, because this is so great. And the other thing
you
that you
also
can
change
do,
a few things on the streets, right? So like number of grates, number of puddles, like all those kinds of details. You can change it to
since
a
we
snow
have a
scene.
rainy scene, let's just go ahead and do it. So let me see if I can find the... Okay, so here we are in the Mega Street material, and let's just add more puddle stuff.
Wow.
So you have some like
It's
height
super wet. Yeah.
map adjustments to do things. Yeah, let's just make it... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is the
go
kind
for
of
it.
thing where I love just like when it does rain, just going in looking and be like, oh, that's how puddles look.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking at it the first time. That's a cool thing about 3D texture work, right? Kind of makes you look at the world in greater detail.
Absolutely, yeah, and particles as well. I just find myself like staring at things and like, are you okay? How snow falls.
So the buildings, I have like crazy reflective right now because I made there are texture maps for the... So texture map is just taking a bunch of textures and putting them together, texture array, and putting them in an array, which can then be read and manipulated. So if I go to a building here, I'll just want to show you guys how it looks like not when it's not crazy. So yeah, so he has brick textures here. Oh, maybe I did something weird with... I messed with it so much. It like... Let's see if I can find... Well, you guys know what bricks look like. Yeah, I probably did some scaling stuff. I mean, I basically just messed with every setting and put it on extreme values just to see what happens. But you'll be able to make like regular cities. Oh, and you can generate grates and street lights and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome. And if you work in VR or mobile, he has, which I think he does a lot of VR work. And you can just go to optimize performance, or go into buildings and do organize buildings. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Organize buildings. And then all the buildings will be one or a couple. Let me turn on my selection outline. See, they're all one mesh now. And you can also...
Age of Music says, what packages are the Parallax Windows part of again? And it's the Cityscape.
Yeah, Cityscape. I would love to figure out how to make some interiors for this. Yeah, maybe I'll talk to the dev if he's not here.
It's a texture.
Yeah.
That you can import.
It is. In fact, let me just... Oh, and you can undo what you did, which is also amazing. So it collapses it to a mesh, and then you can expand it again. So, so that's so great, so great. And you know, if you're doing VR stuff, like a lot of people are in architecture doing that, and if you have a client that you're doing a park or a store, I think that's basically why he made it. He had corporate clients who wanted to see their stuff, like, and having this city that you can just generate for a backdrop is, I mean, you could do it live with a client, which if you do commercial work, and that's amazing because that makes them have faith in you when you're like a wizard of generating cities. They think that you are like super smart, even though you're just pressing a button.
Did you say it was Oliver who made the asset?
Yeah, yeah.
So Oliver's in the
Olive-
chat now.
Oh, great.
Saying you have interior textures and you can change them.
Yeah, let me
Shout out to
go.
Oliver Design for
Yeah.
Cityscape. We have the publisher
And thanks for
who
talking
made
with me,
Cityscape.
Oliver. It helped a ton.
In the chat.
So here is a texture array. And so
Oh, wow.
we have the 9
Can you pull that
different.
more onto the screen? Because it's kind of off to the side. It's a
Yeah,
bit cropped.
yeah.
You just, perfect.
Yeah. So he has a tool where you can collapse these different textures together. And that's all it is? Nothing fancy, just a 512 by 512 texture.
It's amazing.
And it just does everything from there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, can you confirm that UFPS version included in the bundle is a 1 version, not fully supported on recent Unity versions? Oh, okay. Well, okay, goalie, I didn't have any issues, I will tell you, with UFPS, and I'm on Unity 2020.3. Yeah, and if there is anything, I mean, there's so many people that use UFPS that things will get updated quick if there's ever any kind of issue. Okay, cool. Let's do some.
So guys, let's show off those walls.
processing.
Earlier I teased that like we're using the Desert Citadel.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Let's do it.
buildings,
Yeah.
And so
okay,
we
so
were probably looking around and couldn't see any desert-looking structures
Right.
or
Let's take a
medieval
look at it.
Middle Eastern architecture. But
So if you don't know Gumroad, the website, search there for textures and materials, because there's a lot of really great sellers who put up free stuff. And when we have a moment, I'll duck and try and find out who gave me these, because I want to do a shout out to them. Yeah, so search for textures on Gumroad. I used free sci-fi textures for that. Actually, I am not sure now that I think of it, because this might be, let me just check. This might be, there are also free textures on the asset store. Yeah, this is from the asset store. It's TZ Futuristic Panel Textures Light. Nice. So free sci-fi textures for things, and I just threw it on, and yeah.
Can you pull up what the original wall looked like?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let me think about this. Is it called a tower? There's a lot of towers in here.
Oh yeah, you have it in the scene, right? So, or you can just show it on the asset store, the Citadel Desert Environment.
Yeah, let's bring that up here. Okay. So yeah, it's that tower basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is on sale right now.
Turn that into a sci-fi. So that's just like, that's basically the essence of kitbashing: taking things, throwing them into your project. You don't have to buy sci-fi assets to
for sure,
to throw into your sci-fi game. You can just make them sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the shapes of things. You know, like pointy is bad, right? So yeah, it looks evil.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I can 3D model, but I would still do this, because you just want to like prototype your scene out. And like I said, I find that I get better ideas just working with shapes than sitting and looking at Blender, even though that's really fun. But oh yeah, I need to show this Gatling gun, which worked perfectly. So this is also in the kit. But
how many guns are in there? Like, it's like, can you find the guns? It's like a game.
No,
it's like,
I know,
where are the guns?
It would be fun. Okay, let me see. So we did that one. This is a knife, but because we're right here, you don't see
so
it.
Cool. Can you unclick so you can see what the knife looks like? Just like unclick.
Sure, yeah.
And just like look around it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was getting to the point where it's like, man, this is starting to be kind of obvious what I'm up to.
Yeah,
but if you look at it like that, then it's
covered in blood. Then you're like, why is this building covered in blood?
Yeah. I was actually pretty proud of my streetlights. Normally these are like together in a loop, like I don't know, some sort of power loop thing. But it just seemed kind of neat.
You broke it apart and turned it into
totally like inefficient and like not
obnoxious,
any reasonable in a practical sense. But was fun to do. Oh, and I think I have another little fun kit bashing thing too. this is a sci-fi table, which is why the resolution looks less because it's a table. But they had cool vents on it, so I thought it was like neat as a like rather than being a dome, it'd be cool if there was just like some cloud of oxygen or something that people are able to be in. I don't know where the smoke is for this, but it's somewhere. Anyways, cool. So let's do some environment.
Yeah, I'd love
stuff.
to take suggestions from the chat here. So we're gonna play with the look of the city a little bit, the feel, the atmosphere. If you have any
let's do
suggestions,
that.
even if it's just a color suggestion, like last time we were experimenting with this, we made things purple. I think purple looks great, but like if you want this to be like if you want the sky to be very red, like in Blade Runner or something like that, or just very hazy and white, just let us know what you think, what like little atmospheric details you want us to add to this.
One thing I wanted to mention is that the Infinity Cloud system is in the previous bundle that's still going live. Night scene and post-processing.
Do we have a night skybox?
I don't know if I have a star. I have a star skybox because that's in the. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at how this looks.
JH for real.
Let me take a look at what this one is called before it dawns. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so we got a little bit of that. If we want to do that, let me just double check and see. Let me just close this. Okay, so that bar goes away. I just want to check. Okay, this is in. There's a Galactic Skybox in River Auto Material. That's interesting. I wanted to pick one that's in the kit. No, I wanted to pick one that's in our kit of stuff. Okay, here's a night.
Oh, perfect.
I still want to look for something that's like in our kits here. This one sort of looks like a Mars thing. Let's see. Yeah, so
that could be a night time-ish.
Yeah, especially if we take a look at it, and because I think it's probably procedural. Yeah, so if we bring the exposure down,
yeah, perfect.
It does look like. Yeah, it does look like
hazy,
kind of like a hazy Mars.
It's
thing.
like almost like the sky is being lit up by the
light
of
pollution.
The city.
Yeah,
light pollution,
yeah, that's
so
cool. I like that. But there are some really nice textures in this.
Yeah.
So
No, this is good. This is good. Now let's play with
we can work with
maybe
that.
Lower the exposure just a bit more.
Yeah, let me Skybox A, and let's go in here and lower that down.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay. So we do
get that sun out the way.
Sun must be from. Well, let me think about this.
There's also atmosphere thickness. So if we make it really thick, maybe the sun will kind of. Oh, that's cool. Make it.
Is there
lower?
is there a setting on a sun setting on the directional light or on the? If I do this, does it get rid of it? Nope. Let me take a look.
I think if you go back, to the
Herp things are a little bit different. Is there a? I guess not, but this is like what it's coming from, right?
I think it's from okay.
Yeah, it is from the directional light. But I am surprised that there isn't a way to turn off the sun thing.
Sure there is, and if you know in the chat, hit us up.
Yeah, if you know in the chat, let us know. I thought that there was something to like be like, no,
if you
no
go to
sun,
the skybox,
thank you.
So if you go back to that skybox material, maybe there's something.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring that up. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So
sun size. It's in the thing. Okay, right. Yeah. I knew it was somewhere. Okay, cool.
To 0. There you go.
Oh, but the little distant is kind of, because whatever you guys want to do, we can do 0.
Yeah.
And then what is? Oh, right. You can do. Yeah. Well,
make it like a little dot. Yeah, there, like a little glimmer in the sky.
Little tiny far away dot.
Yeah, there
we go. Cool. And then we mentioned post-processing. Now, I did have some clouds, but the clouds were, in something like this, the clouds can just be dark. So let me just turn on. So these are the Infinity Cloud, which are in the other kit.
They're in the fantasy kit, which we'll post a link to. But we actually just posted a link to it, the RPG Fantasy Humble Bundle, and it has these Infinity Clouds that you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find where the shader is. Oh, okay. Yeah, because this one I think is the vortex. Hold on, let me first change the color here and like let's do sort of a darker thing. Though, like you said,
You can go
Assam,
black just to be super like.
Yeah, let's do black. And I think it might take a little bit of time to have the settings come in. And there might be, I mean, like I was messing with this for hours last night. Like, because it's like you change one thing and it kind of changes what the other thing does, and you can just go back and forth forever. Let me see. Oh, but let me show you guys the vortex effect.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's tricky. It's tricky to work with. Yeah. But
Let's just leave it like that. Let's just leave it like that.
Animate really fast. Yeah.
But we're on an alien planet. This is what the atmosphere is like.
Right. This is what it's like.
That's
and you can adjust the distance of the swirl like that. Yeah. And what is this?
It's weird. It's not turning black yet. It's still like purplish.
Yeah, that's where
because of the fog. Is there like a fog distance that's on right now?
There is a fog factor. There are thickness, coverage, color difference, offset. Let's turn that. I mean, like, I was like messing with all this, and I still didn't have a handle on like what things were happening. But I do have another one that is more of the traditional look here.
Okay, cool.
Of the clouds. And this one is a little bit more responsive, I think, color-wise. So
what do we prefer? We prefer to the chat. Do we prefer the spiral vortex or the more traditional clouds in the sky? What is everyone feeling?
Oh, there we go. We got the dark there. Nice.
Okay, so we got some dark clouds or some vortexy purple clouds. It's up to you, chat.
Or we could do both. Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Your bidding is our... do whatever you say. What I'm trying.
Okay. Let's see. What does both look like? Well, let's do this and let's see what we can do with the post-processing. So
let's play with the post-processing.
Because I do kind of like how it brings out the environment, like just something a little bit bland or something. Okay.
Lord Victor doesn't like the vortex, so we're going for this.
Okay, good. I'm with you. Vortex is really neat, though. Definitely want to find a use for that at some point. Let's go into so since we're in ERP, the post-processing is going to be in the post-processing volume, which is global. So right now I just have Bloom and I don't have anything else. So a good first step would be to probably do the filmic look. Nice. So really like how that brings out the lights of the
Can you increase the scatter of the bloom as well?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, before we do this, when we were messing around, I went into the isometric view. Oh, we have fog on. Okay, let's go back. The isometric view looks really cool. It looks like Sim City in space. Or like what's an old game that had a space colonization?
I
also be curious what FPSs you guys like. I don't normally play FPS, but I've gotten really into Hell Let Loose during the pandemic, and it's like my social time, or was my social time during the pandemic to play.
I want to look into Deathloop that just came out. That
cool, awesome. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Actually, it was really neat. I haven't played the Hitman games, which is not FPS, but it was really neat to look at the Game Maker's Toolkit videos on the Hitman level design, because there's some really good tips in that. And I'll probably mention that as we go inside. So let's do environment. Oh, no, not environment. That's my bad naming. Lighting and volume. Okay. And so, yeah, the scatter of the...
Yeah, blast it.
You want to just blast it? Okay, we'll blast it. Let me take a look at... Okay, good, because we got
what happens
this
if
guy
we
here.
increase the intensity for the bloom?
We get a lot.
That's cool.
Increase intensity and bring back scatter.
Yeah, that's cool. Raise it up a
Yeah,
bit.
we can do that. We're kind of going nuts here.
Yeah, just having fun with it. Going crazy.
Dirt texture.
Oh, some lens
Of
dirt.
course. Let's do... Well, I got all the UI stuff, so... But yeah, we'll see that. Does it cover over the... No, I don't think it covers over your scene view.
Yeah, it's more
Vignette.
yeah,
It looks good. And I like to do a little dark purple for my vignettes.
Cool.
Yeah. So like the trick that I always do is to, and you know, I'm sure a lot of you know this, like you do it to where you can't see it, but when you turn it off, you notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And then color curves. So what I think is kind of neat, maybe for something like this, is to, well, it's pretty dark right now, so maybe in color adjustments we want to see if we can do a little bit more, just like brighten it up a bit. Cool. Yeah, sure, let's do a little bit of that. But I would like to take some of the reds out of the darks.
Oh, cool.
You know, like just cut it out of the shadows, because then you're going to get more purple and blue. And let me see if yeah, and then another, like you could take green. I guess I already had it, like taking green out. And you know, like once I do that, when you turn it back on, it looks really yellow, like with it off. So yeah, that looks pretty moody. We'll see how dark it is.
Maybe we could add some grain.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know if you will be able to see this with the video compression, but maybe we could do some larger grain. Some, I don't know what's grainy. Walking Dead is pretty grainy, actually.
Yeah. Left 4 Dead is also grainy.
And depth of field, I don't know. Do you guys notice depth of field in first-person games? I'm not sure if I do. It's a little bit weird, right? Because your eyes don't have depth of field unless you have bad vision like me. Yeah.
Yeah, we can skip that one maybe.
Okay, yeah, let's skip it. Okay.
What else is there? I think we're good, right?
I think we're probably good. Yeah. Now the
Some
trick
AO
with
maybe?
this.
Do we have any ambient occlusion?
Yeah, I have it on, since it's ERP, it's actually on the render pipeline.
And we've got our anti-aliasing set up.
Yeah, we got that set up too. Just wanted to check inside here. So yeah, this is where the volumes are good, because you probably don't want it to look this dark inside. So you have a bit of a contrast from this dark city to the criminals / fascists who like things nice and bright inside there.
Oh, we got a cool comment
Base.
from Oliver. One trick with Cityscape is you can go into the material and change the color temperature of building lights.
Oh,
So maybe we can make everything blue.
Let's make it building shader,
Cold.
light variation. Oh, wait, before we do that, I have to show people. I hadn't done this last night and I love it. Oliver, you probably know what I'm going to do.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Go to sleep, everybody. I have
Definitely
assassinated.
a dictator state, like a fascist
Oh
state.
right. Oh, I wasn't thinking that. That's
All
good.
the blinds
Time to
close
go
at
to
night,
sleep.
and it's like everyone has to sleep.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like I need that.
you need everyone needs a
I
little
need
dictator
I
in their
need a
life.
dictator to tell me to go to sleep. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
It's late. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So somebody mentioned about
The temperature.
game Starbreeze used to use the depth of field with Chronicles of Riddick and later with the Syndicate. It's really thick and nice and noticeable on weapons. Oh yeah, weapons. That's right. Yeah, that is cool for weapons. Or when you're looking through sights, like maybe things are more blurred out in the peripheral. Okay, I'm trying to find your color. Is it? Oh, there we have light variation.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, light strength. Let's blast the strength.
Okay, yeah, let's blast.
Right above it. The light strength.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Ooh, that's
Ooh, cool.
Oh, the city is super glowy now. Now we're really cyberpunk with it.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm wondering, Oliver, do you have any idea how to get rid of all the like the sparkly reflections on the buildings? You see all
And
that?
let me
as
say
you're
a
moving around?
note on that. Oliver, I noticed that your texture array has opacity on it, and I'm guessing that opacity is the like smoothness, roughness. See what he says. Because I did not my texture array is alpha all the way. Yes. Okay. So that's probably why we're getting sparkles, is because I have the alpha on my texture array that I put together is just white and gray with no alpha. And you can see if you can see this here, that you can kind of see through those textures. So you will not have sparkly cities unless you want them. I can give you
The
my
answer is we wanted sparkly cities, so let's go
we
right.
wanted
let's jump right
sparkly
into it.
cities, and we wanted purple reflections. So purple reflecting
Oh, look at this! This
sparkly
is so
cities.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that, Oliver. That's awesome.
So I think what we did with light variation is we increased the actual differences in the lights, right? It's not just.
Yeah. It
There's
wasn't just a one color
colors,
thing.
yeah.
But another thing that he has that I want to mention, which is super cool, is where is the chaos? Yeah. So if any other devs are listening, please include really fun things like a chaos slider for your assets. Look at that. Let's do full screen. Oh wait, but I
Could
won't
you
be able to
imagine being
do.
in a city where that, like, imagine that you
but
automate
you know
that
what?
slider so it goes back and forth and the whole
That's
city is
a
like glitching
great-
out
That's a great idea though. Like
for
say
like a
you get
glitch
shot.
sequence.
Yeah, let's say you get shot with poison, or you like maybe drink something weird.
The whole city just starts flickering like that. That
And the
would be
whole
so
city
cool.
and everything starts freaking out. That it's. I mean, to have a possibility like that, you would really wow people to use that in a interesting way. So yeah, very, very awesome. Man, I didn't know you could do that with the lights. That's great. Okay, cool.
So yeah, I think. Is there anything else you want to change to the environment, or are we gonna? Is the next thing we're gonna do?
I think we're good. Let me look.
So let's drive through this a bit and then go to break, and then after
Okay,
that
cool.
we'll
Yeah,
come back.
let's see how it
Do
looks.
this approach the mission in 2 other ways.
Yeah, we'll actually go inside and take on the boss here.
And it has a nice matrix effect. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's just look at it a little bit first person before we hop in the car.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, it looks really, really great. Oh, I don't think we did fog either, but it
Oh, we
looks,
forgot the fog.
We forgot the fog.
We've got to add the fog.
I'll do it before the break. I'll do it
After the break?
during the break. Yeah. Really cool. Okay, let's drive through it. We'll drive through it again when we get back. So, all right.
You hear the
See
radio.
you, droid.
Cyberpunk
Looking
radio.
good, man.
This is so cool.
Cool. And there's the oxygen vents coming from the
So
giant.
I just really want to reiterate, this is all made using the FPS Humble Bundle. I mean, it just looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely. It's just all, and the Mars environment is in the kit too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about some of these other effects too. But yeah, great. So when we get back, we're gonna storm the castle here. Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
So we're gonna go into those doors when we come back from the break. When we come back from the break, we're also gonna have James is gonna set up some fog, make the city look even more cool, like even cooler, more atmosphere.
Oh, I like the little song. That looks good.
We're gonna jump through the gates and we're gonna do we're gonna tackle the mission in 2 different ways. I won't spoil the last one, but the first one is gonna be a little run and gun sequence where we just shoot down all the enemies and then kill the target. And the way we kill the target in the end will be a surprise. So you have to check that out.
Yeah, we have a fun
Stick
surprise.
around for that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Stick around for the break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So we'll see you then.
All right.
Ciao.
Cool.
Hello, and we're back. Thanks to everyone for sticking around in the chat. So before the break, we were looking at kind of the demo that we had built using the Humble Bundle FPS pack. We walked through, we went up to the top of it, we drove through to the top of a building. We drove to, a sniper point, got up to the point, sniped some enemies, and now we're gonna go through the same mission, but through a run and gun method, right? But before that, I want to look at the assets that are in the FPS Humble Bundle one more time for anybody who's joining us. So this is the Humble Bundle page right now. The total value of the pack is $1,415. You can get it all for about $31.47, and it has all kinds of assets. All of these assets are being used in this demo, or many of them are being used in the demo. Mainly the UFPS Ultimate FPS as like the framework for the game. We're using the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack for a lot of the assassination targets and the enemies and some of the robots in the scene. We're using Highlight Plus for like weapon highlights and all that kind of stuff. There's some games you can get in here, some first-person shooter games. We're using Sensor Toolkit for like the behavior of the probe that follows you around. Cityscape city system for the environment. So like you can generate like entire cities using this amazing asset. We just looked into this extensively before the break. And if you miss any of that, you can watch the VOD right after the fact, and we'll be uploading the video to YouTube next week as well. Also 3D sci-fi kit, post-apocalyptic world pack, some AI, RV Honor AI and RV Smart AI, which we're using for the enemy AI. We're using the Guns and Explosion Sounds Colossal Game Music Collection. This is the music that's playing kind of like in the car as you're driving around. We put that in there. Sci-fi gun sounds, you're going to hear this as we're going through our run and gun sequence right now. Footsteps and Foley sounds, you'll also hear that. And we're using the Citadel Desert Environment pack as part of the environment. So yeah, check out this pack. We're going to drop a link in the chat again if you haven't checked it out already. Amazing value. We were to like the chat mentioned before, like the Sci-Fi Character Mega Pack alone is $250, and you can get this entire pack with 26 items for $31.47. It's kind of amazing value. And so where we left off right before the break was we were making adjustments to the environment to get it looking more like gritty and dark and cyberpunky, and so we kind of made it a night scene where it was a day scene before. Added some fog, so we're gonna jump to a James screen to see that. Added some fog, increased the bloom, added some film grain. So we're gonna go through the mission with that new aesthetic that we've created, and so let's jump right into it. Yeah,
actually, first, before we do that, I wanted to show off some of the sounds in the Foley sound pack, because not only are there footsteps, there are bone breaks. There are really great cloth bag sounds. This is awesome for any adventure game, or honestly any game that you make. Little cloth sounds for things. Even if you're doing pixel art, the sound is still realistic a lot of times. And yeah, these are just make your game feel real.
Of that leather sound.
Leather squeaky sounds when somebody sits on a chair.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Even little gear up sounds. I just love that they included that in this pack, because it just adds to the value of it. Like if it was just footsteps, and the footsteps are awesome too, because you get concrete, dirt, grass, gravel, all the things that we ignore in games, but if they were off or different, we'd be like, what is up with this game? So much cool stuff. So definitely great to have for all kinds of things. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Let's kill bad guys.
Let's do it. Can't wait to drive through the new city.
All right. And once again, if you're just joining us, the hold on, I want to give my nephew a chance to talk to me.
Hello, I am your droid assistant.
All right, cool.
So James had it. If you missed out, James had his nephew record a bunch of voice lines for the droid assistant.
I love it, like in cartoons when they have little kids doing the voices, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this looks great, guys. So, if you're just joining us, this is the boss we're going to kill. This is his like propaganda hologram.
Yeah.
Hologramaganda.
Hologramaganda.
All right. Yeah.
Hologram.
So we're just gonna go drive straight up, and I'd be happy to talk about some of the effects and whatnot too. Oh, we can see a little bit of the dirt, or is that just? I don't know. Maybe that is the dirt. I don't know. It looks cool though. Okay. So, if you were with us before, these guns I don't have Highlight Plus on, and you can't even see them. So it just goes to show how useful Highlight Plus is for pickups, letting your players know that there are things around. Now, I don't know this. Oh, okay, there we go. Good, he's attacking me. I am using now he might come back to life, and this is my fault because I put the UFPS health system. I have two independent health systems happening. So, and you can see the decals too. So if you have a mesh, oh good, that guard woke up. Awesome. It's been a little bit of, and you know, it's a little bit like, did a little bit of like a bullet hell approach here with the, with this. I just thought it'd be a little bit more.
Whoa, headshot!
The headshots are still activated, so.
No, get him! And so the damage effect on the screen, that's also from UFPS?
UFPS, yeah, yeah.
Just
and
has
actually,
it all.
the door I just pulled from the asset pack, or the demo scene too. Yeah. Because like, yeah, just saying, we have a week to put these together. I would totally love spending a month on it. But okay, cool, yeah. So he notices me. And you know, I mean, like the great thing, the assets look great. It's awesome. But my favorite thing about this stuff is that you can you can spend less time thinking about like boring stuff like making walls and more time thinking about like, how can I mess with the player? Like hiding a turret behind this screen. Yeah. So yeah, to be able to just
more fun designing, more time designing.
Exactly, more fun designing. Oh, and that guy is still there. I should have turned him off. That's fine. A thing that I love in like Dark Souls is that sometimes the NPCs are at Firelink Shine, and sometimes they're like not there. And just that simple trick makes you feel like they are alive, like something is dynamic about the world. So what I was trying to go for is, okay, now he sees me. All right, cool. I thought it'd be cool if like at first when you're sniping, you can't get the shot and he's there, but then when you look at that platform again, he's gone. And that's a taunt animation, by the way. I love using
taunting the whole time.
It looks like a speech.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, yeah. Highlight Plus, you can't miss it. Health pickup. Awesome.
Oh, that's satisfying.
And because of the Hitman, watching the Game Maker's Toolkit video on the Hitman series, it just made me think about how a lot of the fun things about like an asset. Of course, the elevator would leave. It's actually on just a loop. There isn't a trigger there, so we just got to wait for it to come at the right time.
We're getting a question. Why is the scope see-through? I think it's just a matter of like something you did with the materials, but that can be fixed, right?
The UFPS stuff is all in the standard shader, and so I just made it transparent and didn't mess with little things like that. Cool.
You won't have that issue, technically, basically.
Yeah, you will not have that issue if you're in standard, or if you just want to spend a few moments making a good scope. Okay, so this we'll have to pretend that this actually works, but what I was saying about the Hitman series is just fun to like turn things off, you know, like turn off this like propaganda stuff. Which I don't have set up because it's doing other things, but just imagine that it powers down.
Yeah.
And then imagine that he somewhere like yells because he's so mad that his, like, you know, he can't broadcast what a tough guy he is. Okay.
Yeah, I love that you get a glimpse of the entire scene.
Yeah, when it's a little bit brighter, you could see them all lined up. It's a little bit like the Death Star thing, you know, where they're like...
It's a good opportunity to add a spotlight now.
Yeah, you're right, for sure. Okay, so we're going to do the run and gun approach first here, and the actual boss is over there. But first, we're going to, again, I didn't put highlight plus on these, so it's like you can't see him when it's dark. Now, here's the thing about the Honor AI is that I was talking, is Ronnie in the chat, by the way? Ronnie, we'll Honor AI, are you here?
If you're in the chat, let us know.
It's really cool to have the asset developers in the chat, especially because it helps me. Oh, yeah, Ronnie's here.
Yeah,
okay,
here.
great. So if you have any questions about Honor AI, he is here. So right now, all of the AI is set up with a field of view that's pretty narrow, which means, you know, so the player could sneak behind them to something else. And we'll go into that in a moment. I wanted to mention that the mechs here are part of the Alien character pack. All of the mechs and the robots look great. This robot is in it too. I just deleted the legs and, yeah, made him more of a droid. Cool. So because their field of view is narrow, they can't see me right now. So what I'm going to do, and actually, Ronnie, it might be interesting if it was possible to switch them from field of view to just like the immediate vicinity in terms of their awareness, because they don't have an aggro system right now, but Ronnie might add that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that they can see me, they are all going for me. And it is a little... it might be a little bit much because none of the buildings are optimized. None of the environment is set up with logs. And I have like, what, 30 AI agents. But already, I mean, the frame rate's not bad. I thought it'd be funny if these elite troopers had bubble guns.
Do you have a grenade to use here?
Oh, I do,
Oh
yeah.
my God, I love how they're all shooting bubble guns. That's so...
Yeah, when I was setting them up, yeah, and they can't hurt me for very much damage because we had the issue in the chat before where I would like...
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, I do have this. Oh, gosh.
Oh, wow.
Where is the... Okay, yeah, here we go. I did do a nice effect for this. I don't know if the damage radius is good, though. All right, got one of them at least.
That's awesome.
Are there any FPS games that just focus on, like, reflecting grenade launchers? Because that's, like, one of my favorite things.
Focus on what?
Like, grenade launcher reflecting... You know how in, like, Quake 2 or in Team Fortress 2, there's the grenade launcher guy?
The demo man?
I love that. I love that.
So good, yeah.
Engineer, what's your favorite class, Hassan?
Oh,
in
medic.
Team Fortress? Medic! Oh, man!
Yeah.
We should play sometime, because I love being an engineer.
Nice. I like. I am so not surprised. You are such an engineer. You are the
I love the strategy.
the
I love the
engineer,
strategy. The teleporters and all that. Okay. Geeking out about Team Fortress 2. That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
now.
So now, and something happened by accident with these Juggernaut troopers. And I'm so happy that it happened. Okay, so they fire missiles at me. I just got a free missile from the asset kit, but check this out. Let's see if I can do it.
You're gonna shoot the missile in the air? Please
you
tell
can you can't shoot them from the air, but what you can do is like shoot them so they go off course.
Oh, that's so.
Do you see that?
That's so cool. Oh wow.
I had never seen that in a game before, and it happened by accident. I was like, I love that. Just like
That's
shooting
awesome.
it so it goes wacky. Okay, well, let me take care of these guys. If I can here. Okay, there goes one. There goes the other. All right, he just disappeared. And our boss!
Let's get out of here.
Oh, you missed. He said mission complete.
Let's
Let's get out of here.
I heard that. That was
Because
amazing.
he couldn't say mission accomplished. He was like, mission accomplished. Okay,
You're
cool.
working within limitations of
Yeah, the limitations
of
of
a child.
a 6-year-old's
A 6-year-old.
pronunciation, which
Yeah.
is great to work with. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
amazing.
Okay, cool. So that is one way to complete the mission. Let's see. How are we doing on time, by the way? Because I think, did we do that pretty fast? Yeah, we did.
No,
that
we're
pretty-
doing. No, that's pretty. That's good. That's good. I think we
That was
still
good?
have. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
So we can maybe go through and so we probably tease that one more way to complete the mission.
Yeah, let's do that one more way. I
So
was
let's
just thinking if there's
restart.
anything else you want to look at. Let's look at some of the environments real quick because I think we have time. How much longer time do we have?
Oh yeah, just show off the environments. We're good on time.
We're good.
We can show
Okay,
them off,
cool.
yeah.
I wanted to show off just some of the stuff that comes in the kit here. So you get a really cool. Where's the entrance? Oh, of course, but I think I can walk through it. No. The asset devs are so nice and they put good colliders on everything. Okay, yeah, so you get these nice little biodomes in the kit.
Very
And then-
Subnautica.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. And then let me take a look at this other one here. This mech is free on the asset store. Let's just get out of here and go in scene view and take a look. This was a cool trick to stumble upon with this particle effect, which I'll just mention it. Let's see if I can select. How do you select a particle system? Here, I think I call it propaganda blob or something like that. Propaganda glow. Okay, cool. I took just a regular smoke texture and then scaled it down to like 64 by 64 pixels, which gives a really cool glitch effect. I guess feel too. Yeah. I didn't intend to do that. I was trying to think of something cool for their rocket launcher muzzle effect.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to go inside this. Here also has sort of a lab feel. So this is in the 3D sci-fi kit 2, as well as like all of this that I threw together because I was like, oh, you got a spiral staircase. And then was there something else? No, I think that's and like this big container. So if you weren't here last time, when you get the bundle, look in folders called props because there are ships there. Like, oh, that's what I was looking for. Like this ship here. And all the ships have cockpit interiors, which is great. So it'd be pretty awesome to kill the boss and then take off in this. Yeah, cool. So now we could do the other approach, the more of the Hitman approach. How many of these assets work with ERP? I am using ERP for all. I'm using ERP right now. So most things, I mean, you have to convert the materials, and that's really easy to do. Okay. There aren't any, a lot of times the ERP issue stuff comes up with custom shaders, and there aren't many custom shaders in the pack. So the conversion process is easier. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, I guess we could drive through again. Who doesn't mind driving through the city? And then we will go to the, actually, I'll turn off some of the enemies just so we don't have me running around. All right, let's do that. And let's turn off the speech guy and let's go for it. Okay, cool. So this is a little bit more of like the sneaky approach to things. All right, cool. Let's get in the car again. And ordinarily I just move the spawn point. I really like how the palm trees look with it dark like that. Those are in the Citadel pack.
What is that little green roof over there? That always catches my eye. The green.
Oh yeah. I was thinking that his
ceiling or thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is in the sci-fi kit because there's hologram tables and stuff. So part of the story that was I kind of love the robot following the car. The like part of the little bit of the lore that was taking shape is that he like terraformed the planet or like the city. So he's like his propaganda is like, you know, I made this planet habitable for you, so don't you forget it or something. Right. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I like the dark sky. Good call on that, guys.
Yeah, it's like
all right, cool. So I took out the enemy or got rid of the enemies here. I guess we don't actually need
those guns.
The guns for the next. Well, I don't know if I turned the turrets off. Yeah, I probably didn't. I don't think I did. Okay, yeah. I'll take care of it. Okay. You can change the rotation speed of those. Again, those are all from the Ultimate First-Person Shooter demo kit. Okay, cool. All right, so everybody's just as we left it. And you know what? At this point, I'm just going to do this like hand-wavy, like narrate what will happen. Okay, so let me just get into Unity here. Because, all right, so here's the deal. You have these solar panels, right? And we at this point we would have turned off this like this here. So hopefully there'd be some visual recognition, especially with Highlight Plus, which I don't know if I can add while the game is running. Maybe I can try it.
Maybe give it a shot.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. So Highlight Plus has to go on something where your mesh is. Let's see if we can add it.
We have a question from Six Soul. How many of these assets work with URP? The last bundle had a lot of assets not compatible with URP.
Yeah, so I'm in ERP right now. The typically assets don't work very well when you are when there's something with like a lot of particle effects because those don't transfer over or shaders, custom shaders don't. And there aren't any custom shaders in this. They're all materials that are easy to convert.
Okay, great. That's good to hear.
So the explosions might need a little bit of work, but you can just work with the textures and that's something that I tend to do for the streams. So let's see if we can get, yeah, cool. So it works in play mode. So nice. Just a little indication like this when the player looks at it is perfect to let them know that they can shut off the power. So when we shut off the power, what happens is just imagine it all happening. All of these things come down. Okay, so we can get out.
Everything turns off.
Everything turns off. And then these things turn off like these little light things.
Great.
And then
what could be in here?
Should it go up or down? Maybe
down
up,
makes more
down.
sense.
What? Okay. So
and it's free. We've unleashed the beast.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool, epic, giant creatures in the pack with really cool attacks. So what we're seeing now is this creature also has Honor AI set up, and he or she or it is looking at, okay, cool. So you can set up a relationship system. This has like a wild alien animal relationship, and then he will attack the juggernauts and the boss.
Oh, that's a one-hit kill. And you're about to kill the target?
Yeah, so let's go into first-person mode, and I hadn't done it before we rehearsed, and it was like, oh man, this is so cool.
This is amazing.
Now, what would be great, and Ronnie, what would be really cool is if you could have your attack script, attack weapon thing be locational instead of the transform of the... I mean, it's really easy to do like damage on collision enter, right? But it would be nice to be able to just easily, get the boss.
Chat says release the Kraken. There we go. And so we've completed the mission, in the secret and final way.
But what we need is him to attack all of the troops,
let's do that.
All of the henchmen. So let's see how oh no, there's another juggernaut.
I love it in games where you have multiple approaches to like completing the same mission. Like Hitman has that too,
really
right?
Fun. And it really made me think about how, sorry if I already said this, about how like there's a lot of fun things to action games outside of shooting things.
Yeah.
Like driving a car around, flipping switches.
You said this to me earlier, like some of the best FPS games, like a lot of they have a lot more than just shooting. That's what makes them so special. That's what makes them memorable.
Exactly. And
personally,
so
for me, Metroid Prime is one of my favorite, you could say, FPS games. But there's so much exploration and like examination of the environment in that game. I really love that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, let's get the bubble troopers.
So this massive monster is in the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack Volume 2, I believe.
Yes. And
part of the bundle.
Okay, there are rigid bodies on the hooves or whatever you call an insect foot.
Yeah.
In the chat, what do you call an insect foot? Does anybody know?
Probably not hooves.
No, probably not hooves. But look, you kind of got.
That's true.
Looks a little hoovish. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll just try and take out. So I love the relationship system stuff because it makes it really fun to like in where? Oh, you. In Skyrim, like when you come upon some battle and people are fighting and you're like, whoa, it makes the world feel really alive and dynamic. Yeah. Okay. You got him. We got him.
There you go. We did it. Okay.
Wait. Oh no, they're under the platform.
You can take care of it.
Here, let me get.
I like how the insect is not attacking you because you kind of freed it and it's aware of that.
Right. So in the relationship system, I like how they're. I mean, I didn't plan this, but it looks like they're running for cover, right? Mm-hmm. Or I mean, it's not programmed, but sometimes you get things for free just with like stuff randomly running around. It looks like things are smarter than they are. But it is, I mean, Ronnie, very nice work on your, like, how they shoot and run around and shoot.
It just blows my mind that you've done all of this with, like, I don't know if you've even written a single line of code for this entire...
A little bit. Yeah. For the AI to follow me around and for, I guess that's...
so just for your companion drone.
Exactly. The only thing that I had to do was smush together the UFPS damage and the Honor AI damage. There's a little bit of stuff to that, but you're totally right. You don't have to code any of this. No, it does help.
Okay. Text says insect claw talon ?
Random range. Oh, Ronnie's AI random range -1 to 1. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what we did when we were rehearsing is what we can do is just set up a follow. So it would be great to have an event where, like, when everybody's dead, have the AI of the bug follow Oh, sorry, bug. I should be in scene view so I don't shoot our bug friend. We can have the bug follow us. So let's... Oh, wait, no, that's the target. And it's in movement. Movement, follow target. Follow me, bug. Let's get you out of here. Slowly get you out of here. And yeah, because it's cool to kill a boss, but the best thing is to make a new friend.
That's the moral of the story.
Right, that's the moral of the story. Okay, cool. So yeah, the bug is now following me, and we got 2 friends.
Oh, is it gonna bump into the environment? Can we see that if that happens?
I think that the
look to the left
nav
of it?
mesh goes straight through the
No, because last time it.
Did it get hung up last time?
No,
Let's
the
see.
objects fell. I like how that
Oh
picture
yeah, I
looked.
had one. Let's see if it falls. I have one.
Oh, it already fell. Yeah, one of them fell.
Yeah. I set up.
Oh, there you go. It's falling.
Oh, okay, cool. I
Nice,
set up
yeah.
one solar panel with a rigid body because
Nice.
I mean I don't know. There's a lot going on.
But that's cool.
Okay,
It
great.
adds to this feeling of like the creature's impact on the. On the
Yeah. And then it'd be great to like save the bug, but he's like crushing all the people in the in the buildings. Innocent
Bug over
bystanders.
humans.
There you go.
There you
You're
go.
free.
Perfect. Thank you so much, James. That was
Cool.
amazing. That was great to look at, and all of that built with the Humble Bundle FPS kit. So let's jump back to my screen, and I will show off the kit one more time for anybody who didn't see it yet. So we'll jump back to my screen share. There we go. Yeah. Oh, sorry. My dog is barking. Babysitting a dog for 2 weeks. All right, so yeah, so the Humble Bundle FPS pack. So this is live simultaneously with the Fantasy pack. Both amazing value. We did a stream for the Fantasy pack, and that is up on our YouTube. We'll drop a link to that YouTube video in the chat. So check that out. This video will also go up on YouTube next week. In the meantime, as soon as we're done, you can watch the VOD live on Twitch. Sorry, not live, the rerun of the VOD on Twitch. But for now, just to look at the pack one more time, the pack's overall value, $1,415. You can get it for $31.47. It's a massive discount. Like we said before, the Sci-Fi Mega Pack alone is $250. The Ultimate FPS, $75. So you're saving so much, and you're getting, you're also getting 2 games in here, Highlight Plus, Sensor Toolkit, a template for a multiplayer shooter game. We're going to drop the link to the chat one more time so you can look through this yourself. You don't want to miss out on this bundle. It's fantastic. But yeah, thank you so much, James. This was wonderful.
Thanks, Hassan. Fun.
Yeah, this was
again.
great. So this was the end of our Let's Dev Humble Bundle series of 2, I guess. But I guarantee you, James will be back. We'll be doing more stuff in the future.
Let's do it.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah, really fun.
Maybe at the end of the year we'll have some things planned. But stay tuned to our Twitch. Follow us on Twitch. We do all kinds of series here. We have the Creator Spotlight series where we interview developers. We have Let's Dev, this is a part of the Let's Dev series. In the past, we did a intro to VFX Graph. We'll be doing more VFX streams coming soon. So if you want to be notified about that, follow us on Twitch. We do Let's Plays where we play games from the community, games that are uploaded to Unity Play. And if you want to be featured on one of those Let's Plays, please submit to the 2021 Unity X Humble Bundle Showcase. That's live for 44 more days. We'll drop a link to that in the chat. If you download any of these bundles and use any of the assets in a game and upload that game to the showcase, we will play that, and we select it and it's featured. We will play it live on stream on the 4th of November. So please submit to that. And yeah, thanks so much. Thank you, James. Thanks for joining us.
Everyone.
Thank you, everyone in chat, for joining us. That was great. All right. Have a good one.
Later.
Ciao.